What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in Forza Horizon 4. We're going to do a little drift build here on the 58 Plymouth Fury. And since we didn't really give it an up close look last time, I figured we would, because there's some pretty cool details on this car. And most 50s cars really have a lot of these types of little quirks about them. As you see, instead of a windshield washer reservoir, they have a little bag over here. A lot of cars in the 50s and before then that were equipped with windshield wipers even, or windshield washer fluid for the wipers, either had like plastic bottles, some had glass bottles, bags like this. It was really strange. We didn't get like plastic containers till like around the 70s, I want to say. It became pretty common. And I thought this was a Hemi powered Fury, but it looks like it's a wedge motor. It doesn't look like a Hemi head motor. It definitely doesn't have the right valve covers. Although it does seem to have the sound of the early Hemi. Does have the dual 4-barrel setup though. Really nice big plush 50s interior as you can expect. And I noticed something weird when I was looking around this earlier. I don't know if anybody else has ever pointed this out, but look at how wide our spare tire is. And I did look closely at it. It is one tire. Now, if we get down here, obviously it has tiny little skinny 50s bias ply white walls. Just thought it was really strange that it has this big massive, like, probably 12-inch wide, 11-inch wide tire here in the back. Looks like it's like a 285 or something probably. And we will take a quick look here at the inside because these cars came with some pretty cool options. I'm not sure what all the one in the game has in it, but you could get record players and all kinds of just crazy stuff in these cars. Looks like we have the tissue dispenser over there underneath the dash. That was also pretty common back then. A lot of stainless steel bits here and there, like engine turned it looks like almost. As most of the cars in this period were, it's very, very cool interior. Very just futuristic by 50s standards looking. Oh, this also had the push button transmission selector for your gears, which was very, very faulty as it aged and the vacuum lines and stuff started getting wore out. So this was probably a pretty dangerous car even during the time when it first came out. But let's not waste any more time here. I just wanted to show you guys around this thing really quick if you don't have one and take a closer look myself. Let's go ahead, upgrade this thing and see how well it can slide around because I'm really curious to see how this thing will do. Alright, we'll look at engine swaps. I don't plan on swapping this motor out. I'd like to keep it in here because I do love the sound of this thing. Just the V10, V12, and the LS swap that almost everything can get. While we're over here, we'll go ahead and throw a supercharger on it. We'll go ahead and check this out. I don't think there's probably going to be much that's really, yeah, that's why I figured you can pull the bumper off or throw Forza Aero on. I like the big chrome bumper on this car, so I'm going to leave that. An absolutely terrible looking Forza wing. That scoop looks absolutely tiny on this car, which is funny because almost every other car you put the blower scoops on, they look massive on them. This car just looks dinky compared to the car. Alright, for wheels, I think I know what I'm going to go with here. I like to use the hole shots a lot on older cars and muscle cars when I decide to drift them. Still has that kind of muscle car look to it, but they also don't look kind of funny on a car that you're trying to drift. I am going to stick with street tires. Normally I like to keep stock, but since it's got the white walls, I think it'll look kind of funny. It might be cool, it might not, but to me, in my mind, it just seems like that'd look kind of funny on the car. Wow, even 18s like almost look tiny on this car. It's crazy just how massive this thing really is. And for my tires, a lot of times I do like to leave a little bit of extra sidewall so I can get a little extra side bite and throw the car a little harder. Just personal preference. Some people prefer thinner profile tires. For the front, 245s I think will be good if we can shave Wow, this car's only 3,668 pounds. I really was expecting a lot more than that out of this thing. It's actually pretty light for a car from this period. Go ahead and upgrade the full drivetrain. It's always a pretty basic thing to do in any drift build you're making. Really just about anything you're doing, unless it's gonna really kill performance in racing in lower classes, doing like full upgrade race transmission or something. This thing just absolutely slams when you throw it on drift suspension. That's crazy looking. I guess race is extremely low too. Pretty close to the same really. But yeah, it looks super slam. That's crazy. Yeah, there's like hardly any ground clearance on this thing. Definitely has like an old school custom look. This would be a really cool car to use for like just open world cruising in convoys or something, just because of how it looks. And you can still get plenty of power out of it. And with how light this thing actually is, it's handled pretty well too, I would guess. Wow, you can get this thing under 3,000 pounds. That's absolutely crazy for a car this big from the 50s. Don't know if I want to go quite that light. I think I'll go right there because I do like a little bit of weight to my cars, so I can do a little weight shift transitioning, and I can use a little bit more weight transfer on entries on certain corners. It's kind of a personal preference thing. Some people like their cars super light and snappy. Some people like their cars to transition a little slower. Alright, let's go over here and start on this end. So I usually start off with flywheel, oil and cooling, and then I'll work my way over to cams, valve train, exhaust, and see where I get overall on power. Go ahead and jump back over here and add all this, because I can already tell we're going to need pretty much everything as far as engine upgrades go to get this thing around the power level I would want, especially being over 3,000 pounds still. If this was like a 2,000, or like a 2,500 to 2,800 pound car, this would be plenty of power right here, but I do want a little more than that in this. Alright, we're back here, guys. I just went in real quick, painted the car. Did a little tiny bit of tuning on it. I only just messed with the gears. I did bump the rear tire pressure up like a half PSI just to make it slide a little easier. And I did take my camber down to 3 degrees in the front and 0.7 in back. Just little tweaks to how I normally set my cars up. Nothing too crazy yet. I want to see how it actually drives first before I really mess with too much here. This thing definitely sounds really, really good, fully upgraded. Just kind of feeling the waters right now, see how it wants to slide out here. I think we need a little bit more tire pressure in the back, maybe stiffen it up just a little bit so it wants to slide a little bit easier here. Definitely a very stable car though. Really surprised me too. I figured it'd be a lot softer without touching any of the dampening rates or anything on it. I really like how they actually managed to capture that early Chrysler, like almost raspiness they had because of the resonators they ran in the exhaust. That was one of my favorite things about old Dodge and Plymouth muscle cars, is just that really nasty raspiness they have to them once you crack them open and when they're idling. This thing is actually a surprisingly good drift car. I thought it would be pretty decent, but it's actually a lot better than I thought, especially with how long of a wheelbase it is, but really that does help aid in stability. Yeah, let me go in here real quick and just add a little bit more pressure to the rear tires and see if that helps us. Because I feel like it's just wanting to hook up a little too much. Oh no. Wow, I can't believe I made it through there. I had no idea that car was coming. It does pretty good, but it does feel like I'm lacking in power a little bit compared to what I would want to have. I'm sure with a little more tuning, I could get rid of enough grip in the back. It would feel like it had a lot more power. Or if I went ahead and put on full weight reduction upgrades, that way it would have a little better power to weight ratio. So stable though, and easy to put it where you want it to, especially in these tighter sections, which that really surprises me because a lot of the older cars, they usually do better on the really wide long corners because they have more weight to throw around and they have such a long wheelbase. Yeah, I knew I was going to tap him. With how long this car was, or is, there was no way I was going to get around. This thing can really hold some angle too. I keep being a little timid about throwing it too hard because it's such a long car and has such a long rear end. I'm afraid it's just going to swing out past where I can control it and wash out. But it really doesn't. It can hold angle really well. Actually, if you keep the RPMs a little bit lower, it is able to hold angle or hold the line a lot longer. I think it's because it just has so much low end torque, doesn't really have much on the top end. This thing is incredibly stable and easy to put where you want it. I'm honestly amazed. This is actually probably one of my favorite drift cars now, just in terms of fun and easy to drive. Upshift on the transition. So close. Just really hoping I could squeeze in through that little gap there. Yeah, I think the only thing I really would change so far about this build was just take a little bit more grip out of the back, just so it doesn't want to come out of the slide so easily when you're trying to let the weight transition and keep pulling you through. But besides that, I'm really amazed by this thing. Little bumper tap there. This is by far one of my favorite sections, at least in the main map, to drift. Once you get a good line going, it's just so much fun. Almost tapped the wall there. I did lose a little too much speed though trying to do it. I was trying to get it as close as I could to that wall. And with these street tires on it, it just grips up a little too much and loses a little too much speed for that. This right here is really probably my favorite part because you can just bring it out there. And if you cut it in just right, just keep going all the way through. Off throttle transition there. Well, in most cars you get off throttle transition. This thing just keeps wanting to grip up on me. Yeah, this thing's got so much low end torque to keep itself going through corners like that. Little tap, handbrake in. That was a nice little line there. Brought it real close to the wall. You got a little bumper tap on the first little section of it actually too. There we go. I think fourth gear might be just a little too, now we're starting to pick up enough speed now. Just need to give it a couple of clutch kicks here and there to keep the momentum. Oh, just barely bumper tapped the planters. It's alright, they can probably salvage them. I didn't hit them that hard. Oh, there's the tram. Well guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you did.